What's up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and Dope Living TV.
Yo, this is Tony Terry, and you're watching Dope Living TV.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver, and whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
What's up? We watching Dope Living TV. What you watching?
Yo, welcome to Dope Living TV. Dope Living TV. Dope Living TV. We got it all. Come and see. Yeah. You see. Dope Living TV. Dope Living TV. Yeah. Check us out. Come and see.
How y'all doing today on this Monday? This is Dope Living TV Live, and I'm Stephen Edwards. The views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. Okay, first off, I'm here. I'm going to run the show today. Greg got some business. I got little Stevie darting in. But let's give it up. I see orange and blue skies. That's what I seen this weekend. Orange and blue skies. So I'm going to give it up to them New York Knicks. And, man, not in 53 years it took them to win the championship. I commend Jalen Brunson. He scored 45 points to close it out. The rest of the team scored 49. They continued to do just like every other game. They was head double-digit down, and they came back and won. So I commend it to the New York Knicks. So
shout out Knicks.
Okay. Let's bring to the table. Tonight is the Relationship Roundtable. We got our people here from Melanin Marriage magazine. First off, let's bring in Brother Banks. Greg, let's bring in Brother Banks tonight. Oh, we got S. Marie first.
Hey, y'all.
How you doing, S. Marie? How you feeling?
I'm so good. I'm glad to be back.
We are glad to have you back. And hey, I like that hat.
Hey.
I like that. Was that St. Louis? I like that St. Louis.
That's my city.
I definitely do, every day. It's hot in here.
Hey, you know what? My accent is gone, but my cousins tell me I'm too proper. But
yeah, because I don't hear that St. Louis.
I don't have it. I've been gone so long, but when I get around my cousins, it comes back. But my cousin's accent, I love to hear it. Here, there, it's there. It's just in the background.
All right, let's bring it up. Who we have? Do we have Brother Banks or Reverend Pat?
Reverend Pat.
Hey, how y'all doing this evening?
Okay, what to say? How you doing, Brother Banks?
Man, I'm good. What's happening with you? You holding it down?
Gotta hold it down tonight. Gina will be coming with us later.
Yeah. Well, welcome back,
I got
Marie.
some questions that was sent out to me to hold it. Actually, Brother Banks. Yes, welcome back. What you think about that game this weekend?
Oh, I loved it.
I did.
I loved it. I'm an Eastern Conference guy, so anything on the East Coast. I'm a Wizards fan, so anybody could have won that game.
I hear you, but hey, it was an awesome game. First off, y'all, with me here today, I want to give a testimony. I want to give it up for Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and send a shout out to Monte today. I met a young man, he was awesome. They were doing the landscaping and laying the moats near the townhomes where I live, in the front and all that. And I just went out there and spoke to him, and I said, hey, can y'all put that in the back of my house? Well, and they like, that ain't what we do. I say, that's fine. I say, but can you do it for me? He was like, yeah. He was like, you got some food? I say, yeah, what kind of food you want? What kind of food you want? I'm like, what? I got a couple Lunchables, some bottled waters. They like, man, perfect. So, but hear me out. I didn't know I was feeding them, but the Lord was feeding both of us. Because when he came over there, our conversation went to talking. And I told him about Melanin Marriage. I told him about Dope Living. And then we spoke, and I told him about the movie Forge that I seen on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I explained to him, I asked him how old he was. He told me 21. And I told him, man, I wish when I was your age, I had committed and surrendered and humbled myself and gave myself to God like you say you have.
Wow.
I say that's awesome. But I say too, and I told him to watch the movie, I say, but see, it's my responsibility to help brothers like you. And it's your responsibility to help young children like young men like my son. And that's our responsibility as men of God. And I told him, I gave him my number. I told him, you call me. You need to talk about the Lord. We could get this Bible study started. I do a call on the wall every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and we could do that. And he wanted to join in. And he told other people, he said, man, I got some people I need you to talk to. And see, he didn't just come over there for food. He came for spiritual food.
Yeah.
And I just thank the Lord because it was just God working through me.
Absolutely.
And that's what it was. And I just give glory to God, honor and praise that I'm able to do that he's able to work through me to be able to do that.
That's a blessing. Yeah. Shout out to you, Steve. That's major. I love the fact that, one, that you're starting off with that. That's one. But two, you weren't afraid to ask for something. But it's amazing how God puts things on our mind and we're thinking so small. But that plan that he has in the background, Jesus, it's serious. And that connection that you just made, and this is what he said, let me bring somebody else on. And that's going to continue to expand because when you put God in things, it just flourishes. It gives it a whole new life. But I love even more that this is Father's Day, Father's Month. Let me say that. And the fact that you're blessing someone else's child, but what you also said was he could be doing something to bless your child mentally. Guidance like that. He's closer in age. That's powerful. Like, hats off to you. Like, that's deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Brother Banks, I commend you on that cover. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome, man.
Okay, let's start off. We got we got this relationship roundtable, y'all. So let's get these questions started.
Wait, before y'all don't have the magazine, just get it for this month. The Melanin Men, I call them Melanin Men of Valor. That cover is fire. All the men in the magazine. Y'all looking for some dapper men to just peek at? Man, listen. Watch what God got for that magazine this month.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm on my deacon usher.
Okay. Now let's get into this relationships and help these people. All right. The first question is, you fall off financially and your significant other leaves you. Now you're leveled up and are better than you were before. They want to come back. Do you let them?
The short answer to that is no. Because when you leave somebody when they down and out, and because adversity is actually what drives people to either get closer or reveal who people really are at their core. So, I mean, it's easy to be in a relationship when you're up. So, but when you're down, where where the people at? So they ain't no revolving door on that one.
Okay, that's Marie.
I agree. I feel like that was a lesson because when you take a vow, it's through thickness, health, everything. Financially, if you dump me because I'm not financially there, then that tells me a lot about your mind, your spirit, your heart. You weren't true. So if that's the case, let me go ahead and continue on with the blessing God gave me. And then when he places the right person in my life, I will share that with them because you didn't deserve me at that point. Money is such the root of all evil, as they say, and you can't allow something so trivial to deter you away from somebody. Because guess what? There are times where we didn't have it. As kids, if you grew up a certain type of way, You may not have had everything, but guess what? When you truly loved your parents, you didn't leave them because they didn't buy you a toy. So when you say you love somebody and you make such a powerful commitment with God, you don't take it lightly just because somebody's money wasn't funny, and then all of a sudden when they back on and popping, you want them. No, stay where you at, and allow whoever took my place to keep that place, because it was a seasonal situation. You fell off
Mhm.
branch on the tree, and I'm good.
Okay, and I understand that too, because one thing, hello, D Stark, say Rachel, the love of money is the root of all evil. Yes, it is. One thing, when you take vows of marriage, and see, that's why I say today, that's why they always try to say partnership and contracts, because they don't want to look at it as if they're not doing what God said under his vows. You know, he says, for better or for worse, for sickness or for health. You know, this is what people must understand. You can follow obedience of law, or you can follow obedience of faith. You know, and like I tell people, I strive to be like not like the what man created, but like the creator of man.
Hmm.
So let's move on to our second
Yeah.
question today. Okay. Can you confuse manipulation for love?
People do it all the time.
Yes, that's great. Yes, they do. Let's hear you.
um, it's I'm gonna sound really, really mean about this, but I feel like people know what they're doing when they manipulate you. So I put it like this: manipulation is when you have ulterior motive. If there's a means to an end for you, there's no true, authentic feeling, and you're just kind of that players club mentality, using what you got to get what you want. That's manipulation. But people think that's okay. Oh, I'm just, letting them know, or I'm letting her know. No, you know what you're doing. And that's the problem. It's so easy to manipulate people, but you go to work every day and you work hard for your paycheck. Work for your relationships the same way, whether it's an intimate relationship or friendship, whatever. You shouldn't use materialistic things or body parts to get people to give you what you want. You should be true, and be honest about it. If there's some intention, let them know, because guess what? I might give you more of something if I know what your true intention is. But you're not allowing me that piece to be honest with me. So I just feel like people confuse it all the time because they think it's okay, but it's not. I don't want to be manipulated. Let me do what I want to do for you, and let that be that. And let me make the choice.
Okay. I
Yeah.
agree totally. What? Give me a second, Brother Bank.
Mhm.
Rachel, I agree. Rachel says she'll totally agree with that. And let's give it up to Brother Banks.
Yeah. I just I know we equate a lot of things to money when we talk about manipulation. Some people manipulate for attention, for time,
They do.
to take away someone else's choices. Some people manipulate to keep people company or keep them from going outside their presence because they're clingy.
Ooh.
And so we confuse those things as loving gestures. And over time, when we thinking that they're cute, is or tolerable at the moment because we see it as them loving on us and things of that nature. But what they really are is stages of control shaped in love. And so when we're not wise enough to understand, we think it's love.
Mm.
And so that's the danger
Yeah.
of allowing that to manifest into your relationship, deeper into your relationship. Because once you change and once you realize, you're going to change.
Yeah.
But that person hasn't changed. and it's going to be hard for them to adapt to who you become in your discovery of who you are.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I agree. And I also say, they really, like you said, within the manipulation, they ain't changed because they came in there with that state of mind. So too, but see too, that's why I say when it comes to relationship, the first relationship we have to master is the one with God. Because everything else from that, he covers.
Yeah.
He covers. We don't have to worry about nothing else once we submit, surrender, and humble to him. And because see, with my articles and on the show, God is love, love is God. Love does not hurt.
Bobby.
Hey, Bobby, how you doing today? Love does not hurt. Love is peaceful. Love is caring. Yeah. Love is God, and God is love. Yeah. So everybody say, "Oh, love hurt." Love don't hurt. And relationships hurt. Lustful relationships hurt. God is love, and love is God, and it don't hurt. All right, let's move on to the next question. This one right here, I can't wait to hear S. Marie. We go ride with you first, S. Marie, then we go move on to Brother Banks, ladies first.
Okay.
Is it wrong for someone not to want to date someone with kids?
Don't beat me up. No, I don't think it's wrong for someone to choose not to date someone with children. That's your personal preference. And at the end of the day, if a person doesn't want children, doesn't like children, you probably don't want them around your children anyway. So I think that is truly that person's preference, and it's not for us to judge, whatever it is. Some people who are mature enough to know, like, hey, I'm not ready for kids, or I don't want kids, or there could be something that happened in their past, trauma, whatever, that leads them to that decision. So I think people just need to respect that if that's their decision, and either time will change or that person will be strong in their decision. It's a personal preference. It's not a mandate. And it's funny that you asked this, because my sister and I just had this conversation about dating people with children. She doesn't. Hey, Gina.
Hey, Gina.
Hey, Gina. Our sister here today. How you doing, sis?
I'm awesome.
But a lot of people don't. If they don't, kids, they choose not to date people with younger children, because again, that's a lot of responsibility. And if you're not ready, don't play with someone's kids.
Okay. Brother Banks?
Yeah, I agree. I was almost that person. My sister gave me some wise advice. Don't block your blessings from finding your soulmate because you choosing not to want to have their kids in your life. And so I followed that and found me an outstanding woman with kids. One of the reasons you mentioned trauma, one of the reasons why I didn't want to be a step parent is because early in my life, my dad had met someone who was very verbally abusive to us. And she gave me a nasty taste of what it is to be a step parent, and I never wanted to be a step parent. If I didn't have my own, I didn't want to have nobody else's. So for me, it was just one of those things that was almost a done deal, especially when I had my own and she was already out the house. I didn't want to have to start that process over. But again, don't block your blessing, because you could find someone that's right for you.
Right.
And you being right for that situational dynamic as well.
Okay. All right, good. Hey, Bernardo, I understand what you said. You coming with 15 kids, and you ain't coming solo. You right. You is not. You got the house and the bricks already. Gina, you want to come in with that question? comment on
Yeah,
it?
I was an awesome parent with kids. So, but I get it. Even though I had children, I wasn't back in the dating scene until my kids were grown. And so I really didn't want anybody with kids. I had that's a hard process raising kids. It's very difficult. So I really didn't want anybody with small children. But it wasn't to say that if I found the right person, if they had small children, I think I would have adapted. But God knew. He sent Robert to me. Robert don't have any children. God knew what I could tolerate. So he worked it out for me. So even though I felt like I didn't want anyone with small children, I feel like if I had met the right person, I would have adapted to it, and I would have loved his children just as much as I loved him. I just would have had to, I kind of started over. I raised my granddaughter, so I kind of started over anyway.
Yeah, and that's great. And I me myself, I agree with Brother Banks said. You could probably miss something by just doing that. And like you said, Gina, God gave you what you needed. So, all right, we gonna move on to the next question.
Wait, Steve, that comment. I'm sorry. I just think that's such an outstanding thing to say. Justice on Demand too. He said, I'm standing next to my girlfriend in Texas. She had 4 kids and I have 15. I don't believe in stepmom or stepdad because everybody getting treated equal. No ands or buts about it. Shout out to you because that's amazing. A lot of parents don't feel that way. And that's why I said, if it's not for you, then it's not for you, because it takes a big man or a woman to say exactly what you said, because that step word creates separation. So when it's the words that plant seeds in people's lives, because people would never know that someone was your step this or step that unless you open your mouth.
And treat it exactly. I agree. And I agree truly with that. And also, just like Brother Banks has said, I see that comment now. Like he said, he had a stepmom that treated him away, and it almost made him turn a certain way. And I spoke on that before on the show. The love you see turns into the love you give without help. So, all right, let's come on.
My daughter doesn't have any biological kids. She has a son through marriage, and he calls her his bonus mom.
And that's great. And because back in the day, like they said, it took a village to raise a kid. Now it's so much separation.
That brother brought the village.
He's the village and the tank.
He's
the village and the tank. So
he made the village.
Much respect to that brother.
Let's move on. What do you do when someone else wants to do what your significant other won't? Let's go, Gina.
I don't know. You might have to break that down for me because I'm a little confused.
I want to make sure I say what you said. My ears is dead.
Wait a second. The question was sent over to me like this. What do you do when someone else wants to do what your significant other isn't?
It depends on what that do is, because we're not doing the do. If my significant other can't do it, then I'm going to teach him how to do it. We're going to work on this together, and it's going to be fun, too.
My thing is, I hear you, Gene. I'm not even here to comment. I'm here to mediate. The question was sent like that.
That is a Greg question. That is Greg written all over it.
Well, hey.
My only comment is this. You shouldn't even be in position to know what somebody else is going to do that your husband or wife won't.
Totally. F. Marie, I agree with that, because when I seen that, that's what I had in my head. That seemed like a lot of pillow talking. All right, let's hear you, Brother Banks. What you got?
So this is a situation that is out there a lot, and I'm gonna speak in general because I know for me, I have been on both sides. And early in my life, you know, when cheating was an option. But, you know, being reformed and things of that nature, I'm gonna give it to you the way the learned me. Sometimes you get in situations where the person at home is not providing you the things that's necessary to coddle or your spirit, your identity, or your to validate you. Sometimes you can get a cold shoulder where people don't show the affection that you need in order in your relationships, that turn you to somebody that shows you nothing but affection. And so these are the times where temptation starts to grow deeper, because you're being fed by something that is greater than what you're receiving at home. Now, I would say turn to communication at that point. And sometimes you can turn to the communication and be ignored. So it is a situation where it can happen. But I would urge you to say, you know what, if I'm feeling this way where I'm receiving something outside of my relationship, I need to evaluate my relationship at that point and not follow into that temptation, because only thing that's going to do, and we've seen it time and time and time again, the stove is hot. I'm just going to let you know the stove is hot. You put your hand on it, you're going to get burned.
Yeah. When you to that point, it's already. So, and what I want to say too, I mean, like you said, S. Marie, well, I say this one thing. Well, Brother Banks, out of all the shows we done did together, nobody never take you as a cheater. So I just let that know. I don't think you ever cheated in your life. Never, brother, never. That's just me saying me. But, you know, you too close to someone if you know they doing what your husband or your wife won't do. So that right there, that meant is your connection with somebody else ain't right, and you giving them too much attention. So let's move on. Bernardo had sent some questions in. We need some answers tonight. A couple in a long distance relationship. She in Texas, he in Indiana. Now hear me out. That's a different part of this question. Her kids older and bigger and all in school. His is 2 years old and 11 years old. The youngest has autism, and the grandchild has a brain injury, 80% brain dead. To make the relationship work, a decision of Texas or Indiana has to be made. With all her kids could relocate, new schools, doctors, and new friends. But with him having a 3-year-old that brain damage that colds often, that requires immediate intervention care from trained people, who is the mom, the dad, who around 22% of the time, and me, the most support for the child. Should the girlfriend be open-minded to come without making it a non-factor?
That's the end of the question. I just
Yeah.
know.
Oh, okay.
Another question.
Banks, you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I tackle this, you know, because this comes down
wait.
to...
Let me say. Hold on. Let me get one more thing. Be mindful. We train that once a person cold, their 16-hour drive is more likely to be too late to drive versus a 45-minute drive from Hammond to Mishawaka. We both tuning in from Texas tonight, and they watching.
Okay.
So this is a situation where caregiving supersedes the relationship. And you have to be able to say, if I'm going to go into a relationship where I know they're going to need my support, then you can't play around with this type of relationship. This is, and when you start to make those decisions about care, then now you're talking about what's the closest placed to the facility of where I live and where that person needs to go in the event of an emergency. So you have to make those decisions. I personally don't try to live too far from a hospital because I would like my chances to be the greatest possible scenario out there. And you're going to have to change how you live your life. And that you're going to have to create a space where vacation may not be on the table all the time, and caregiving is going to have to be a pretty good amount of your time. And so that's a relationship. It's definitely possible. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but these are some of the things to consider.
Okay. That's Marie. Wait, 1 second. Hey, y'all, when I chuckled, Bernardo, I seen you say you bet $100 that Greg got the question wrong. I don't know. I got the question the way it was said. So if it's wrong, hey, I read it the way I got it. That's Marie.
First thing I want to say is I love the fact that you are in a committed relationship and you know that there are differences and you're, whichever one is living with the other that has the child with that situation, because that's critical. And I've lived through that. So my nephew, God rest his soul, who passed away two years ago, he had Down syndrome. And they told us that he wouldn't last 24 hours, 2 days, went from 6 months. He lived to be 29 and a half years old. But during that time, there was a need for constant immediate care. And it was only care that his family, mainly my sister, could provide, because there are times where he goes through battles and we have to rush him to and from the hospital. I will say this: there's a lot of technology that has changed and a lot of enhancements that have come about medically, and I work in the medical field, so I understand. But when you have a situation like that, I think that you both need to really sit down and pray on it, because moving children who are able-bodied and stable, yes, it is an inconvenience, but when you move children who have such a unique life, it's safe to kind of keep them where they are. So I don't really know what your life is like, but one thing I will say is this: that's not a decision that this show could make, but my advice to you is, one, pray, but don't do it. Do it separately, but most importantly, pray together, because what
Yeah.
you're asking for is for God to give you an answer and help guide you. And that's what you're going to need, because that's an upshift for your entire family. The big kids, the little kids, it's a lot. But if you know that you want to be together and you're willing to make this commitment, check out both options. See if your children can get the same care in the new state. And if they can, check out the hospitals, check out the doctors, check out everything that you can. But also do it vice versa for the kids who may not have any, disabilities or situations. Have them check it out as well. On the flip side, make sure this is something that you want to do and you weigh your options, because when it comes to life, as a person who I've been sick for 2 weeks, started with something simple and went into something else. So I know what it means to have the right type of care, but what it means to have the right type of care and the support system that you need to go along with it is going to take more than just you two. You guys said earlier, it takes a village. So see where you have that village, but that village does not mean just your family. That's your clinical staff. That, is any other, people that can be supportive to your situation, because it's really hard to live with children who have, certain situations. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
listen, when that calls came, we were at 2 in the morning, we're out, because we don't know, that situation. And it's critical when we take for granted, oh, we can just upshift and move. No, when children have certain things, or even adults, when we have certain things going on, you need the staff that's trained, that knows that person's situation and what they've been through. And I say that because I was misdiagnosed the first week I was sick. It took the second week to get me right. But had the first doctor read, okay, she has respiratory, she has asthma, it wouldn't have taken me so long. I almost had pneumonia. So when you take your child who has, things going on and you shift them to somewhere else where that medical knowledge and terminology is not there, you're really putting yourself at risk. So I think prayer is your best answer. And it's going to take both of you to really read in between the lines and do your research. Like I said, doctors, lifestyle, traffic, take everything that you possibly can into consideration. And once you guys have came up with what you think may be, then your children, it's not their decision, but children like to be included. They like to have a conversation. So include them if they're going to have to shift, because again, you don't want the animosity. You don't want your children acting out in school. You want to make this a family situation, because it's going to take all your kids. It's going to take both you and whomever else in your corner. So
I agree, Marie. Gina, you want to come in on that?
I don't know the question. You got to tell me the question again.
Man, it's a question. It's a question.
So I'll say this. I'll jump into this
because it is the. Hold on one question. Hold on, Brother Banks. I'm gonna tell her the question. This was sent from Bernardo. He say a couple in a long distance relationship. She in Texas, he in Indiana. Her kids bigger and all in schools. His is 2 years old and 11 years old. The youngest has autism, and the grandchild has a brain injury. To make the relationship work, a decision of Texas or Indiana has to be made. With all her kids, could relocate, new schools, doctors, and new friends, but with him having a 2-year-old that has a brain injury, brain damage, that codes often, that requires immediate intervention care from trained people, who is the mom and the dad, who's around 22% of the time, and he the most support for the child. Should the girlfriend be open-minded to come without making it a non-factor? Be mindful. We train that once a person codes, their 16-hour drive is more likely to be too late to drive versus a 45-minute drive to Hammond or Hammond to Mishawaka.
Well, yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Banks. I'm going to let you go ahead and speak what you were going to say so that this can mull over in my head.
Okay. Yeah. I was just going to say, in this relationship requires an enormous amounts of patience, enormous amounts of understanding.
Yeah.
And the understanding comes in when the other parent, that child's mother, is involved. That's an aspect that we didn't talk much about, but it's a part of his dynamic because he mentioned it. And so that's something that their relationship is going to have to be airtight, in support of that child and that family unit that they're building. And neither one being girlfriend or boyfriend, they don't have any marital commitments. But if that's what they're looking towards, then they have to really communicate on how they're going to communicate with the care of the child. And that's something that both the mothers are going to really have to understand, that, listen, when I come in here, I'm going to love this child like my own. And you have to allow me that space to do so. And I have to allow you the respect to understand that this is your child and you have the final say.
Absolutely. Exactly. I agree. And I say this by me growing up, having a major disability, which is grand mal seizures. It's very difficult to be in a relationship at times because, like I say, even when it comes to marriage, even in a relationship, I tell them it's for better, for worse. Epilepsy is more than just seeing someone have a seizure. It's epilepsy is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And people have to understand that. So I do come with. I can say this real life. I do come with bumps and bruises. So, I mean, you have to have an open mind, because if like I say, you have to have that love, because it takes a lot to have to be part of that. Because every autistic child, a child with a brain injury, they're gonna grow up. and they become an adult. I was a child with an injury. I was a child who back then they say head fits. So everyone has to grow up. So it's not always going to be that child.
Right.
So, and you know, people gotta say, I had somebody send me a question and I didn't understand it. They told me that they wanted me to refer this. They say, why in today? Well, you know, I'm gonna put it right. They say in today's world, why are people going crazy? They say publicizing their relationships. Why does everybody want to be a real housewife or something online? Brother Banks?
Well, online allows you the opportunity to express a character that's not present in your real life. So let me say that again. Online allows you the opportunity to express a character that is not in your real life. And so you can be whoever you want to online. You could be a real good relationship. You could be an outstanding relationship. You can be the Obamas. But at home, you Flavor Flav in New York. And so online allows us the opportunity to have free access to the world and gives us the opportunity to influence other people about who we really are. And in some cases, it validates us. And in other cases, it hides who we are. So
okay,
that's all I have to say about that, you know, because that's
okay. Hey, Black Diamond, and I seen what you said, Bernardo. He said each of their children has autism. One is younger, one is older. So, and the older one, I believe, is on a team, and all of that is already in place. So,
I didn't get a chance to respond on his question.
Yeah. Come on, Gina.
First of all, I would really need to know how long that relationship has been in place, because that makes a difference. And then I would say they may even need a transition period. Now, I was going to say the best thing would be to look into the best medical facilities for the 2-year-old, because that is the most important thing at this point. Relationship is fine, y'all lovey-dovey, but the care of that 2-year-old is very important. And so being near a facility to keep that child alive would be first and foremost. And if I was the long distance girlfriend, that would be my first priority, to make sure that we're somewhere close where that child is. If I don't see that coming from that individual, it would be red flags for me. You know what I'm saying? Because that sounds like selfishness. It's very important to be able to make sure that that child can make it to the facility that they need to. And I don't know how much research they did for Texas. And, you know, is that the only place that's the closest place available with the best care? Is what you say, an hour and 45 minutes? Is that the best place? Or, you know, maybe there's something somewhere even closer. So that could be something looked into too.
I agree, Tina, because maybe they can find a place which is neutral to each of them.
Right.
But since it's a child on each side that has autism, it'll benefit the whole family as one. And I agree with that, because the best care might not be Indiana or might not be Texas. But let's see where it's best on us, because if you're starting that family, that's your family. So you can stay ground anywhere you need to. For the best of
It doesn't have to be a choice of Indiana or Texas.
Definitely.
It could be wherever you want to go. But that would be the first thing I would research, to make sure all of the children have the best resources available to them.
Exactly. And that's how I feel. So it wouldn't be a Indiana thing or a Texas thing. It's what's best for our children. And like I say, especially when you say it's a child on each side dealing with the same issue, and that makes it a little bit easier. It makes it a little bit easier. So let's get back to what you just answered, Brother Banks, about the people that they just express their whole life. And like you say, well, we heard what you said about they could be who they want to be. So let's move on. Hey, Black Diamond, have
Hey,
they
Black
tried
Diamond.
the autism waiver program? Well, that's a question.
We don't even know all of that.
We don't even know. Let's go ask Marie.
Oh, same question. You know, I'm biased, and the reason why I say that is because I'm an open book. If I'm asked the question, I don't mind answering it and telling you bits and pieces of my relationship. But because that's how people grow. That's how people identify things and do reality checks and things like that. With communication. But I do feel like there are some people who just put way too much of their business out on social media, and I'm just not a fan. I can't stand, people posting your food every day, and it's like things like I'm going to the bathroom, that kind of thing. It all drives me nuts. So I'm really
I hear you. Well, I ain't finna post all that. I'm gonna even let the camera down there.
Listen, there are people, again, that's their outlet. I think, for some people, again, it could be attention, it could be that's how they make their money. I'm not here to judge. But I feel like there are certain parts of your life that should be sacred, secret, private, however you want to put it, whichever words you want to choose. But I think that's a level of maturity. um, it depends on also when you're speaking about it, in what manner are you speaking about your relationship? Is it something like this where you're trying to help people's relationships, or it's for the betterment of someone's relationship? Or are you doing this because you want to be on TV, you want to get some money, you want to be ratchet snatch? Like, I can go on about all the negative ways and reasons that people do it. I'm not a fan of those. But I feel like if it's something that is empowering, that's helpful, and you have to tell a little bit of your story to allow people to see, hey, they've been through some things, we can work through this, or hey, they had this same situation and this is where they fell short, so let's try this. I think those things are very helpful.
Beneficial.
Yeah, and very beneficial.
I understand.
So
Gina? You kind of going in and out. I'm sorry. Gina?
That's it.
So the question was about people putting their business on social media.
Yeah, and like just always got to show this and that, and they, their titles of life and just their relationship.
Those are people starving for attention. If social media wasn't available, they wouldn't even have a life. Everything does not need to go on social media. And I see, how do you put on social media you dating this great guy and he's so great, and then 2 months later you saying he was a jerk? I mean, you should wait and see if he's a jerk before you start posting on social media. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you'd have looked at the right post, you would have knew, because the girl that he dated last time said he was a jerk.
Right. So yeah, and I think they look so foolish when they come back and have to wipe the egg off their face. Everything does not. It's no different from what the Bible says and what your mother tells you and what your parents tell you growing up. You don't bring everybody into your relationship. That goes with social media too. You don't go to your family every time you have a problem with your husband or your wife, because when you and your husband or wife make up, your family member is still angry at that person. Yeah. Same thing on social media. They don't forget what you put on social media. And then when you say all of these things about this person that you're dating or married to, and then you go back and say how great they are, they didn't forget that you said he was a jerk or he did this or he did that to you. So, people can't refrain from it. It's so nowadays it's all about likes. It's all about hits. It's all about going viral because, they can make money. It's truly ridiculous.
It can be labeled too. I mean, it is. it's an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have, you got people, and like you say, I can be whoever I want to be. So to me, it's just a big thing of faking a front. Be who you are, and that's when you become well respected. So we at the end of our time today. We're gonna go on to the last words. So, and like I said, Gina, that cover for this July issue, this June issue of Melanin Marriage, I gotta say, Brother Banks laid it out. When I say he laid it out, he laid it out. So
I truly enjoy my issue. I think my issue ends. I think I got another 4 or 5 months with my issue.
Well,
but
that's
I'm
cool.
truly enjoying it. I'm truly enjoying each issue that comes out. And I get some things from each and every one of you out of your conversation in the magazine. There's always something in there that I'm like, good point. So, there's some hidden messages in there. And then you guys are very transparent. I love that. The fact that you're transparent. And that lets people know you are people. You make mistakes. There's, choices you've made that you wish you hadn't. And knowing that people are human and we want to put the people on a pedestal, and then when they fall off the pedestal, you're like, oh, not that, but they're human. And you guys show the human side. You talk about the things you've been through. You talk about your learning experience, and you put it out there. And that's what I truly appreciate.
And we appreciate that. Thank you, Bobby, saying that June Melanin Marriage is fire. And Brother Bernardo just said, some people take to social media for advice because they don't know. I'm going to tell you this. Don't always take the advice that keep popping up on your TikToks and your Instagrams and all that, because they putting all that advice on there because ain't nobody in their relationship, ain't nobody taking it. So I'm going to try to show somebody else that ain't around me something to take, so and it's awesome. But I tell you this, Gina, I thank you, because I thought about writing prior, but I really never ever had jumped into it until I met you. You were a motivation for that. You and DAG, the Distinguished Authors Guild, I commend you to go to the war ceremony. It was absolutely awesome. So, it definitely. And I want to say,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, I did. I want to say right now, we got the Relationship Roundtable Saturday. Put it up, Greg. June 20th. It's coming, y'all. Loft Attic, Gary, Indiana, 2 p.m.
Let me see if I can find it. He might be.
Okay, here we go. Relationship Roundtable. Hey, be there. Saturday. It's actually June 20th, not the 13th.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, that's Father's Day weekend. If y'all don't got nothing to do, bring your fathers. It's free. Come on in, relax, hear the questions, hear the panel, and interact with us. So now we get into the end. Brother Banks, let's hear your last word for the day.
I think today, really covered a couple of things that I think is important for us to understand about relationships. Relationships take commitment. It takes time, takes understanding, it takes a whole lot of communication, and patience. And so when we enter into relationships, we have to come in with those understanding that it's going to be work. And it's most of the time it's an uphill walk. And sometimes you can run up that hill, and sometimes you can walk up that hill together.
Amen.
So I just encourage people to really take that walk together, and continue to encourage them to sometimes get out there and run that race.
Okay, thank you, Brother Banks. S. Marie.
Nice.
That was really nice. Wow. I agree with everything he said. The only thing I would add is just that, one of the most important lessons you can learn about being in a relationship is that being wanted is not the same as being valued, and being attached is not the same as being loved. And how you truly accomplish having all the things that you want in a relationship is just what he said, through communication, showing affection, attentiveness, and being a good listener. Because if you value someone, you value everything about them. You want them to be better, but you also want them to be better with you. So be understanding and be patient, and pray through everything. If you're in doubt or if you have concerns, pray over it. That's the best advice you can get. You don't need social media. You just need yourself. Doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, eyes closed, eyes open, pray. He's listening. And that will get you through the best of things.
Amen to that.
Amen. Gina?
Well, there's a couple of things I want to say. I'm going to keep it short, though. If you want to have a really good weekend, there's a lot of things going on. We do have the Relationship Roundtable at the Loft on the 20th, Saturday the 20th. And that setting, I love that setting because they have the, what do you call it? The
restaurant?
Psychological, no, the psychological couches the psychiatrists use. They got a name for those couches.
We got the couch conversation.
the couch conversation. So it's really set up nice. I like the way it's set up on the stage with the couches and the chairs, and it gives you that talk experience. And then we'll have the next one the following week on the 27th, Saturday the 27th at D&K Soul Food, which is a different environment. It's more of an open forum, whereas the Loft is kind of like a controlled, where they have the panels on the stage. With D&K, it's just, the audience is kind of pushing the conversation. So there's two different conversations there. And then Friday, is Juneteenth. Again, there's going to be a Juneteenth celebration at D&K. They're going to have a fish fry with fried chicken, fried fish, corn on the cob, watermelon, Kool-Aid, coleslaw, and potato salad for $19. There'll be stepping, there'll be bid whiz, there'll be spades, and that goes on from 6 to 10 at D&K 3669 Broadway in Gary, Indiana. But what I want to say about the relationships, and it's really very emotional for me right now because there's, I wouldn't say a friend, but there's a lady that's been helping my mom with some things, and she's been helping us for like 3 years. And so she's a very beautiful person, very beautiful personality. And I really connected with her because she's so genuine. And those are the people that I really connect with, genuine people. And we were just talking. My mom had to go in and sign some papers, and we were talking, and she was telling us that she just finished her divorce on Wednesday. Finished her divorce. So it was made final on Wednesday, just Wednesday. So it's like it's still wet. You know what I'm saying? The ink is still wet. And she talked about it, and she started crying. And even though she divorced him, and they were together for 37 years.
That hurts. That still hurts.
And then I think about how I always think, how does a 30-something year marriage ends? How does a marriage that long end? It really, kind of baffles me. If you with somebody that long, how does it end? But she talked about how, she saw the change in him and some of the things, and she should have been left, and so on and so forth. But it was so emotional to hear. You could tell it really hurt. It still hurts. But she took that move because it wasn't good for her. And a lot of us, we don't want to change like that. That's a huge change. We don't want to change like that. So we stay in.
Well, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
We have to make that change.
But some people are not that strong.
No, I understand too, Gina, because some people just.
And then, and she's very centered in the Bible. So I'm sure that had to eat at her because, the Bible says you don't divorce.
I ain't trying to cut you off, Gina, but our brother just sent something.
Okay. I heard the ding.
Hey, y'all, check out Melanin Marriage, June issue. It is the men of Melanin Marriage. It's a great episode. You could get it 12 issues, $36 a year digitally. Thank you for coming for tonight, Dope Living TV Live. I'm Stephen Edwards. This is Dope Living TV Live again. God is love, love is God. Hey, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Yes.
Night.
Whether in the house or outside, you know that we gon' do it. Make a wrong decision, turn around and still get through it. When you say the name, you know it's us and what we doing. So turn it on and let the bass get booming. Hey, yeah. Dope Living TV. Dope Living TV. Dope Living TV. Dope Living TV. Yeah. We got it all. Come and see. Yeah. Oh. Dope Living TV. Oh. Dope Living TV. Oh.